Hey, I think I'm live. I don't do these very often, so it's kind of a new experience for me. I've been watching some of the other presenters, and seems like a lot of us have some uneasiness about jumping on and doing these things. So it's hard to talk to only your camera. But hello, I'm Melissa Blair, and I'm the owner of Cultivating Sales. Thank you, David, for allowing me to present to this group today. What you're doing is fascinating as a marketer for me to watch and kind of analyze what you're doing and how you're doing it, and then how you're attracting such a quality level of people. I've been enjoying the presentations this morning and learning so much already. So just to give you a little background on me, I refer to myself as a sales and marketing nerd. I owned a sales training company for 11 years. Back in the day, I sold it after all those years. Long story, won't go there. But sales training obviously was a big thing for me. Studied marketing, always continue to study marketing. That is certainly a hot topic for me. And then I'm nerdy, so I really enjoy technology. I enjoy software and figuring out how to make things work together as far as with software. So in all the years that I've been doing sales and marketing, one of the biggest obstacles that I always ran into is I would go to work with a client and I'd say, you have to buy MailChimp and you have to buy Calendly, you have to buy Pipedrive, and we got to get you a CRM. And they would look at me like I'm absolutely crazy. And I felt a little crazy. And then we would build this system. Of course, I'm the only one that knew how to work this monster that was built. And so it just became so apparent that there had to be an easier way. And just through the years, I got involved in Infusionsoft very early on, thinking that they were going to be able to pull together a cohesive system that would make it easier for those of us that are small business owners. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, different businesses, and again, I was an entrepreneur very young. I have a real passion for small business, and it's very difficult when we can't afford all these expensive tools, or we don't have the time or the talent to learn all these expensive tools. And so my mission really has been to try to figure out a better way. And it was about 2 years ago that I started working with a group of developers, and I said, here's the problem. And they said, well, Melissa, that's what we're building. We're going to build this. And I, crossing my fingers, hoping that that's the case. So just to kind of go back to my little graphic that I had earlier today, ditch the duct tape. So this has been my goal, my mission, is to find a way to not have to duct tape or glue or zap or anything, all of these different programs together to build a cohesive sales and marketing system. So that's, like I said, that's the plan. And so over the last 2 years, that's really been the case, where we have just been growing and growing and growing this plan that we've built, or this platform that we've built. And it's now it's to the point now where you can build everything in the one system. So you don't need ClickFunnels, you don't need Calendly, you don't need Kajabi, you don't need to duct tape together all these different programs. And then I realized that that was still only one piece of the obstacle that I saw a lot of coach consultants like ourselves go through. It's not enough to now have this easy to use piece of software, but I found a lot of people, us included, we went through the same challenges throughout this whole thing, and we found people kind of doing things in the wrong order. The example I use is, if you're going to make a phone call. I made a phone call this morning to a client, and I actually called through my computer because I'm in my lower level and cell phone reception is not as good down here. So I just called right through my computer and we had a nice discussion. His phone number is a series of digits. Now, if I used those digits in a random way, was I going to get Pat on the phone? Probably not. Probably not going to reach the person I was hoping to reach. And so we have to use those digits, those numbers, in a very precise way so that we can get the result that we want, or we can get that person. A recipe is the same way. I remember the first time my son, when he was younger, decided to make brownies. And we were all excited, and we couldn't wait to eat the brownies. And then we, put it in our mouth, and we were all, the look on our face could tell that there was something wrong. So he quickly tasted the brownie, and it was so salty we couldn't even eat it. And therefore, we said, well, how much salt did you put in? And he had mixed up, the size of how much he should put in. So instead of, like, I don't even remember what it was, but let's say, instead of a teaspoon, he put, a cup or something silly like that, because he was, like 8 or 9 at the time. So getting back to the point is to have a path or a system for building a sales and marketing platform for your business that will yield results, the results you're looking for. So in the case of us, we were looking to automate the process of filling our calendar with qualified prospects and having a consistent process in place, because I think we all know that roller coaster income where you're busy, you're out there meeting and greeting and building relationships, and business goes up, and then you're busy fulfilling those things, and then it goes back down again, and then you're back out there again. And so we wanted to come up with a way that could be automated, because again, that's my thing. Let's figure out how we can automate and use technology, but only use technology in the way that it's meant to be used. Technology is never going to sell for you. You still have to have the ability to get out there, meet people, have conversations. The training that we did back when we had the sales training was called integrity selling. That tells a story right there. It's about solving problems. I truly believe that sales is one of the most giving things that we could do, because we really are helping people solve problems. This company is called Cultivating Sales. Kind of same thing. The word nurture is used a lot when we're talking about everything that we do. The kind of hidden spirituality of all of this is we try to bring spiritual principles using business language. So it doesn't matter how somebody feels or what they follow or don't follow. It's really about serving others, doing the right thing, helping people. And so we try to slide a lot of that in kind of through the back door, as opposed to being right out there. Because some people might be turned off by that at the very beginning, but then once they get to know, like, and trust you, they realize what you're really all about. So that's just kind of how we bring spirituality into it. So I'm sure I'm like going all over the place, which means I didn't follow a pattern. So not sure you're going to be able to see this or read this. Here, I can see there. So we have a very structured path. And what we found is that often, it's hard to show this, but we have 3 core categories: plan, assemble, and then execute. And plan is down here, assemble in the middle, execute at the top. Very often we get into the assembling stage because we bought a new software program. So we bought ClickFunnels, or we got Kajabi, and we bought into that vision of what it's going to do for us. And so we dive right in and we start playing around, and a lot of times it doesn't go very well, and pretty soon you find yourself paying for that software every month, and then you're adding another one, and the whole shiny object syndrome, and you just keep tacking on different tools. And that's because you're stuck in the assemble mode, which exactly what I did, because I love playing with all that stuff. What we're really trying to do is back up, go back and start in the planning. It's not as sexy, but boy, is it important, because everything you do after that is a result of what you did in the planning stage. So you have to, I'll just go through our 9 steps. The first step is core offer. What is your core offer? When we look at helping a client automate their entire sales and marketing system, we encourage them to start with their high ticket offer. Now that's in many cases the opposite of what many people say. Oh, start with your low offer, work out the bugs, figure it all out. We're the exact opposite. Your high ticket offer is the one that you should put the most work into. Get that automated. That allows you the income to then start working on those other pieces. But by starting with your high ticket offer, you have that income coming in on a consistent basis. So we really dive deep on the core offer. The second one is what and who. What problem does your core offer solve, and who does it solve it for? So that's really getting at the meat of who your ideal client is and how to present your information, your content, your images, your copywriting. Everything should be tied into the core offer and the who and the what. And then we've got the sales pipeline. What we're trying to do here, often sales and marketing were 2 different silos. What we're trying to do here is bring those 2 together and say, how can they work together to, again, get that end result that you want. So by understanding what your sales pipeline is, or your sales process, how you move people through your sales pipeline is critical. Because like in our case, we work for the discovery session, or your free consultation, or your breakthrough set, whatever you call it. Most of us have some sort of a intro meeting where we can get to know and hopefully like and trust each other. So everything in our case, and in many of our clients' cases, is because coaches and consultants is who we work with, we're building the sales process around that discovery session. So every call to action was going to be, let's book a time together, let's get to know each other. So that's step 1, 2, and 3. We have to plan these out, because like I said, everything else comes after that. Assemble, the 3 steps in the assemble is building your funnels. Everybody knows you got to have a funnel, right? Well, it can be overwhelming. I've got all of Russell Brunson's books and his recipe books and all that, and it's phenomenal. Best investment ever is learning from Russell Brunson. But it's also overwhelming, because we got to have a tripwire funnel, and we got to have this funnel and that funnel and the other funnel. What we're really defining are the 3 funnels that you really need, and quite honestly, we keep them as simple as possible. Complexity prevents us from doing things. It's the whole reason so many of us never share our gifts out into the world, is because the complexity of all the technology. Technology just is the obstacle that gets in many of our ways. So same thing with the funnels. We don't want to make them so complex that we never launch them. So our 3 funnels that we suggest are your lead magnet funnel. And you can have lots of lead magnet funnels, but at least have one. And remember, it's got to tie into that core offer and that who and what, and your sales pipeline. The event funnel. Now, we all know that every event's been online now for how long? Now we're entering back into tiptoeing back into the real world again. But how can you use webinars and podcast and this type of environment to be able to present your material? And then the third is the appointment funnel, and that's where you're getting them to come and book that discovery session with you. So the lead magnet funnel, the event funnel, and the appointment funnel, which is under the assemble category. This is where we put it all together. We build the things. We use the software to build the things. And then now we get up to the third category, which is execute. That's where we now turn it on. And step 7 is to fill your funnels. And there are a bajillion ways to fill your funnels. Social media, Clubhouse, advertising. It's just paid networking groups, free networking groups, all these ways of getting your stuff in front of your audience. And so when we look at filling your funnels, you got to remember you've got those 3 funnels. So everything you do should be filling 1 or more of those 3 funnels. And then the call to action in every funnel, book an appointment. So you're trying to get them into that. And that's actually step number 8, is having the sales conversation. Now you're together. How do you run an effective sales conversation in that you both get out of it what you need to get out of it? It is a give and a take. It is finding out if they are the right person for what you are offering. And if they're not, how do you help them? Maybe you can refer them to somebody that is the right fit. I have done that so many times, and I end up getting referrals from those people, even though they didn't work with me, because they knew that I was somebody that they could trust. Step 9 is nurture to grow. We look at nurture for 2 paths. You need to nurture those people that did buy, and you're going to onboard them and have a whole system and an automated process for that whole process. And you also have to nurture those people that were interested, but they're not ready to buy yet. So how do you stay in touch with them for a year, possibly 2 years or more? Not everybody's ready to buy when we're ready to sell. So we're in a situation where we can be selling and we have something that we are offering people, but they may not be ready to buy yet. I can't tell you how many times I've met with people and we've gone through the 9-step process and they've said, yeah, I don't know what my step 1 and 2 are. I don't personally work with people to help them with their step 1 and 2, but I do have people that I refer because I say, hey, I can't help you with that, but once you get that figured out, then come back to us, then come back and we can help you implement the rest. But understanding where they're at is the key, and that's why we use this. So what that means is that I have to have a long-term process by which we nurture people. And in our software, we have the ability to do a very holistic nurturing process. So we have emails, obviously. We have text messaging, 2-way text messaging, having conversations. Sometimes they're automated, sometimes, a lot of times they're not. They're having an actual conversation. Same thing with emails. Sometimes they're automated, sometimes not. We use voicemail, where we can automate the process of dropping a voicemail in your prospect's voicemail and just leaving a message. And we really encourage, this is not a sales message. This is either an education message or it's like I use it during my discovery session. If somebody were to book a discovery session with me, they automatically get an email with the details. A minute later, they get a text message saying, hey, Joe, I see you just booked an appointment with me. I want to make sure you get all the info. Look for an email. By pairing that email and that text together, we have a much higher chance of them seeing the message. Then, a day before the appointment, I have a voicemail that I pre-record it once. It's in my system now, and it drops into their voicemail a day before the appointment, and it just says, hey, it's Melissa. I'm looking at my calendar for tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to spending some time. All right, I see you're on it, and I'm really looking forward to spending some time with you. That is not a sales pitch. That is just a warm, nurturing message that they hopefully, some people don't listen to their voicemail. That's okay if they don't hear it. But if they do hear it, it's just, wow. I've had so many comments say, wow, that was really cool that you took the time to do that. Here's where automation does the work for me that I have every intention of doing, but I never get it done. And so here's where I'm using technology or automation to help me sell, to help me nurture, but it's not actually doing the job for me. It's just helping me. So, going back to if you booked a discovery session with me, you would get the email, the text, then the voicemail drop the day before, and then 30 minutes before the appointment, the system sends another text message saying, hey, I'm going to see you in 30 minutes. I'm just getting ready now. And I take that 30 minutes to go through and look at how they've answered a question or two for me during the booking process. I look at their website. I kind of do some diligent work there. But that text message also includes the Zoom link again, so that they don't have to go back and try to find that Zoom link. So what I'm trying to do is make them feel I'm trying to build an experience for that person that has booked an appointment with me. We're trying to do that with all of our automation, is to build some sort of nurturing experience. I told you I would use the word nurture a lot. So that's our 9 steps: the core offer, or plan, the core offer, who and what, sales pipeline, assemble, the lead magnet funnel, the event funnel, the appointment funnel, and execute, fill your funnels, have those sales conversations, and nurture to grow. If you want to get a copy of this, just DM me and ask for a copy of my 9-step process. I will also put a link. I'm going to put a link in the messaging so that you can book a discovery session with me if you'd like. I think that's about it. It looks like I'm wrapping up about 20 after. I don't even know how to look and see if anybody's asked any questions or done anything like that. Even though I'm nerdy, I'm not necessarily nerdy at this. I like getting into the nitty-gritty of the automation, and I think a lot of people get scared by the word automation, and really all we're doing is saying, if this happens, what do you want to have happen next? What experience do you want them to have? So if somebody books an appointment with you, I want them to get a confirmation right away, and I want a text to go out confirming that confirmation so that they actually go find that email, because we're all inundated, and a lot of times it might go to spam or wherever based on what happens with email nowadays. I want them to get a voicemail from me the day before, and I want them to get another quick text right before, making sure that they have the Zoom link. So really what I did was say, if this happens, I want all these things to happen. And so it sounds complicated, but when you really get into the software, you realize, you just pick these 4 things and you're good to go. So the same thing would happen if, I got a sale. If I get a sale, what do I want to have happen next? Well, obviously, I want a text and an email to go out confirming that happened. We always pair those 2 up in important areas. We also have automated the process of a card being sent. So I have one of our clients actually has designed, they have artists, they design these handmade, beautiful 3D cards, and mine has welcome on there. And so the automation, the minute I say I got a sale, the text and the email goes out to the person that just bought. A text and an email also goes out to my friend Jamie's company that says, send Melissa's welcome card with this message to this person at this address. Jamie's team then takes my card that they have in stock, and they handwrite the message, hand address it, stamp it, and mail it for me. Again, in a perfect world, I would do this. I am not going to do it. I have no time. My handwriting is atrocious. I would have to buy 5 cards at Walmart or whatever and just try to get through and find one that's worth sending. So I take something that I want to have happen and I automate that. And the results are phenomenal. I have people show me, I still have your card. We can also do this with gifts and postcards and different ways to, again, nurture in a holistic way. So that's how we really think through automation. If this happens, I want this, and this to happen. Or in this case, you want this. And so how could you use automation in your business so that it would take the load off, that it would do a lot of that heavy lifting for you so that you can spend more time with your clients and with your prospects? And a lot of times people say, I can't believe you spent this whole hour with me, just talking with me and learning about my business and all that. And I said, I can do that because I'm not dealing with all the rest of the stuff. This is what I love to do. I love to meet with people and hear about their business and understand the challenge they have or how they want to be different and how we might be able to help them do that. That is my superpower. That's where I love to spend my time, not fighting with cards and trying to get, a decent handwriting out of it. So again, how could you use that in your business? We have both the path or the system and the software to help you do that. So by combining the two, making the software easier and cheaper, quite honestly, and then providing you with the path for how to set up an effective sales and marketing system or process, that's what we do. So I will call it quits right here. Again, DM me if you want a copy of our 9-step process. I will put in the link to my calendar if you'd like to book an appointment with me. Again, go through that process, see how it feels to go through a booking process like that. It's a little different, you're going to see, because we have the funnel builder built in there. So it's not your typical calendar system. So again, I said I would stop. Now I'm going to stop. Thank you for hanging with me. If you stuck around, thanks.